We only have a couple of months left until The Rise of Skywalker hits theaters. I am not mentally prepared to say goodbye to the sequel trilogy. It's been a really fun 5 years. With that said, there has been so much speculation on how this film is going to end, and I can't stop thinking about this proposed mind-melting ending sequence. Because of my incessant thinking, I have come up with a plausible theory for this final sequence. But reminder, this is a theory. So, in each final chapter of the previous Star Wars trilogies, there is a theme of saving the one you love. And yes, we have quite literally heard that sentiment from none other than Rose Tico. I believe the aspect of saving the one you love will most definitely be at play in this final sequence. In Revenge of the Sith, Anakin wants to save Padme from death. Anakin is manipulated to turn to the dark side, so that way he can learn how to use this power. Unfortunately, the very actions Anakin took ended up destroying everything he did love, and still resulted in Padme's death during childbirth. Anakin, now Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi, received unconditional love from Luke Skywalker, which at first doesn't really seem to help Luke's cause at all. But there are moments where Anakin emerges. Ultimately, Vader chooses to save his son Luke from the Emperor. Vader was finally able to save the one he loved in a sense through Luke. In our sequel trilogy, I believe the person who will need saving in this final chapter is none other than Ben Solo. I'd rather not speculate on how exactly we will get to this moment in the film, so I will jump to the exact moment I think that this enigmatic sequence is going to begin. So, at the beginning of this sequence, Kylo is dead after committing a selfless act, and I mean dead. And because of this selfless act, Ben Solo will be the one to emerge into the netherworld of the Force, where his uncle and the remaining Jedi who are also there will be awaiting. In the physical realm of the living Force, I think Luke's Force ghost will appear next to the deceased body of Kylo Ren. I think that Luke Skywalker, being so powerful, will operate as a conduit between the cosmic force and the living Force. Think of, the wellspring of the Force as an analog. And without getting into the mumbo-jumbo Force magic, Luke will kind of act like the Jedi analog to Darth Plagueis, literally raising Ben Solo from the dead by pouring the energy of the cosmic force back into the body of Ben. It could also be something as simple as literally manipulating Ben's midichlorians in order to regain his life. I also think that Leia will be involved in this as well, since she is powerful as seen in The Last Jedi. Rather than the Skywalker twins destroying Palpatine as Force ghosts, which sounds hilarious to me, it makes more narrative sense for the offspring of Anakin Skywalker to finally bring someone they love back to life. I find this more powerful and meaningful to the message that no one is ever really gone. This also really connects the trilogies together in a really beautiful way, if you ask me. It pays a direct homage to Revenge of the Sith in the ultimate desire of Anakin Skywalker, but it's flipped on its head because the Jedi were actually the ones who could harness the power of saving people from dying. It also, for me, gives Luke closure for what he did to his own flesh and blood. Yes, Kylo Ren did have some darkness inside of him, no doubt, but Luke was the straw that broke the camel's back. This, in my opinion, will mend their relationship. This also honors Han Solo's legacy and name, with Ben Solo emerging once again as the man he was meant to be, Han Solo's son, an ace pilot, and Jedi. Ultimately, I think Force ghosts have been shown to always be able to affect the physical realm since Return of the Jedi, and this ability of bringing someone back from the netherworld of the Force seems like a reasonable next step, especially after The Last Jedi showed us all that Yoda stuff, and it's a really neat way to expand the lore of the current existing canon. Ending the film in this way with a fully living and breathing Ben Solo at the hands of his mother and uncle, the Skywalker twins, would be one of the most positive messages in general in regards to recovery from one's past. So yeah, that's my whole idea with this final sequence. It's a mad dash to save Ben Solo's soul in the netherworld of the Force, and for him to resurrect into the living Force and be redeemed and go back to the light. So I hope you guys have enjoyed my theory video today. Of course, like I said earlier, this is just a theory. There's no proof that any of this is really happening. However, I would encourage you all to check out some early drafts of Return of the Jedi when Obi-Wan Kenobi himself does actually resurrect from the living Force. It was originally a concept, so this thing isn't as wild as you think it could be. Here's to The Rise of Skywalker really impressing us and hoping that this is a really great closing chapter to the Skywalker Saga. AdChat signing off.